Right, okay, hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. I was planning on making just a regular review slash discussion on the Maple Leafs versus Oilers game, but this is not going to be a regular discussion slash review because I have to speak about NHL refs. I do not want to just keep it in and it annoy me, so I'm putting it on video, on tape for everyone to see in the world. Before we go into that, just a 30-second review on the game. So 30 seconds from now on, right. First period, perfect for the Leafs. Freddie Anderson was very good, as were the Oilers. Bay ends 2-0. Jason Spezza with 2 points on the night, both coming in the first period. Second period, lots of penalties for the Leafs. As usual, lots of ghost penalties on the Leafs, especially on a Kerfoot slash. However, the period ends 2-1 in favor of the Leafs, so the Oilers do get one back. And in the third period, it's more of the penalties, and Leafs a bit better in the second, but still not great. Some more ghost goals, both on the Oilers and on the Leafs. Draisaitl scores on one of the ghost calls. Matthews scores the game winner on the ghost goal for Ethan Bear. Frederik Andersen, despite his save percentage, still looks very good. So, let's get into the matter at hand, which is NHL refs. And I'll just use this game as an example, right? I could analyze the refs individually. I could go into all the games, but I do not have the time for that. Let's look at these games today. 11 power plays. 11. I'm not even joking. 4 for the Leafs, 7 for Edmonton. 2 ghost goals on Kerfoot. 1 ghost goal on Ethan Bear. Cross-checking is not called. I fail to understand what the refs are doing. And the problem with that is refs, just like the players, are not crossing borders. So it's going to be the same refs over and over and over for the entire season. And probably for the playoffs too. Which I can't fathom that the refs are just allowed the liberty of being absolutely terrible game after game after game. If a player is terrible for one game, it happens. If he's terrible for two, if he's terrible for three, he's out for the team. That's how it is, right? So refs, there's probably enough refs to officiate in the NHL. There's probably enough good refs to officiate in the NHL. Yet we are left with these guys, which what? So the problem with NHL refs, right, is not that they make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, right? Players on the ice make mistakes. Fans make mistakes. People in life, just on a regular daily basis, make mistakes. NHL refs are not different. But people, usually in any workplace, have repercussions to face after these mistakes. It's just how it is. You verbally assault someone, it's a mistake, but you'll have to face the repercussions. You physically assault someone, same story. You make a huge mistake in your files if you're a lawyer or if you do the bookkeeping of a company or whatever, it's a huge mistake. You will face the repercussions. There's no two ways about it. But the NHL doesn't do things the NHL does terribly more than anything else. One, protect its players. We see it with the cross-checking. We see it with boarding calls, with hits. We've seen it with the Tyler Myers hit on Joel Armia, was it? Yeah, the Tyler Myers Joel Armia hit that left Joel Armia with a concussion. Nothing called. No sanction right there. Cross checks, nothing called. No sanctions right there. It runs throughout the NHL from the top, Gary Bettman, all to the refs. And this is one big problem that we will have to address. At some point, the NHL will have to address the problems of refs and themselves not calling blatant mistakes, dangerous plays, and so on and so forth. This game didn't feature any hugely dangerous hits or boarding calls, but it did feature cross-checks as usual, which some refs will call one and another will see 10 and not call any. And that leads to things like Austin Matthews having to take a game off 3 games into the season because he's got upper body soreness and he's got back problems or whatnot. And it takes away from players and the level that they can play, and it takes away from their career. In the end, it will take games, weeks, months, if not years away from a player's career. And I'm not just talking about Austin Matthews, I'm talking about the Leafs doing it too. The Leafs doing it to Draisaitl or McDavid, or the Caps doing it, or the Penguins, or the Sabres, or whomever. Any team, every team does it, yet it's never called. Never. For any reason that I do not see, it's never called. Right? Then we've got the boarding calls. Oh yes, you've got a boarding call, and then you get a 5-minute major. That's it. What comes after? Yeah, you get a $5,000 fine. The $5,000 fine for NHL players is like fining you or me $5. It's a coffee. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, you get fined, and that's it. If coaches get fined, like John Tortorella did for calling out the refs, when was it? This has also got to do with the refs. When the Columbus Blue Jackets had about 2 seconds left against the Blackhawks, they won the draw, then they scored to win the game. However, the puck went in after the horn had gone off and the game had ended, where there should have been added 0.6 seconds or so to the game, and then the puck would have actually crossed the line in time. That led to the Columbus Blue Jackets losing eventually on the shootouts. And again, stuff like these, if you dare to criticize the refs as an NHL player or as an NHL coach, you get fined $10,000, $5,000, whatever it is. And yeah, sure, that's not great. As did Rod Brind'Amour in the NHL playoffs this year against the Boston Bruins. Rod Brind'Amour criticized the refs. He got fined. What happened to the refs? Nothing. Yep, you made a mistake. Go on making mistakes. Day in, day out, night in, night out. No problem. You can make as many mistakes as you want. There's no repercussions because you're an NHL ref and you matter more than the players. You matter more than the value of the sport. You matter more than just. I honestly, it baffles me how much refs are protected, yet NHL players are not. Yet calls the gifting victories to teams. And I'm not saying they do it on purpose to one team or another, but by not calling fouls or by calling ghost fouls, you are deciding the game. If in the third period you decide, oh, I'm not going to call this or I'm not going to call that because I don't want to decide the game, you are deciding the game. It's as simple as that. You are deciding the game if you call stuff, you are deciding it if you don't call it. The only way to rectify it is to get it right. And if you get it wrong, then a coach or the captain should be able to say, look, you actually got it wrong. You've decided the game here. And I know you can't do it for the entire game, right? I was thinking the same as Steve Dangle did on a video he filmed recently where he said, in the last 5 minutes of the game or so in the third period, you should be able to challenge a ref's call. And I know many mistakes will be made before that. But if it decides a game like it did today, you should be able to do it. And I know the goal today from Austin Matthews was just a bit before 5 minutes of the end of the game, and the penalty came in with 7:47 left, so you wouldn't have been able to do that. But more often than not, a team who gets goals against them, who should be calls, end up losing the game because it goes to the head, it gets to the performance, and as much as players don't want to admit it, it does affect them. So it's just a discussion I'm putting out there. You might agree, you might disagree. That's perfectly fine. If you disagree, let me know why you disagree, what you disagree with. If you agree, great. Then let me know what points you do agree on, what you would do to change that. I was actually going to talk about Justin Hall too, as a Leafs fan. Justin Hall tonight as well. Very quickly, again, 30 seconds or so. 6 hits, 2 giveaways. That doesn't really matter because he had 25 minutes on the ice. 1 block. what a player he has been. He's been a revelation this season. He wasn't great last year, and I wouldn't have minded if he got traded. But if he keeps this up, what a player at a 2.5 million cap hit, I think it is, he's turning out to be. So, Justin Hall, I love you very much. Don't go changing. NHL refs, please change. Seriously, it's diabolical. It's terrible, man. Just fix it, whatever it is. Anyway, this was it for my review of the Leafs versus Oilers game and more my rant on NHL refs. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video. Please consider subscribing, sharing the video, letting me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will talk to you very soon.